Why Sigmund Freud's ideas still shape psychology today.
Introduction.
Imagine a world where your dreams, slip-ups in conversation, or deepest fears reveal secrets about your mind that even you don't fully understand. Over a century ago, a man named Sigmund Freud proposed ideas so bold and controversial that they changed how we think about the human mind. His theories about the unconscious, dreams, and childhood experiences are still debated, studied, and applied in psychology classrooms, therapy offices, and even pop culture today. Why do Freud's ideas, despite being challenged and criticized, continue to influence psychology?
Who was Sigmund Freud?
Sigmund Freud, 1856 to 1939, was an Austrian neurologist who became known as the father of psychoanalysis. He believed that much of what we do, think, and feel is driven by parts of our mind we aren't fully aware of, the unconscious. At a time when mental health was poorly understood, Freud introduced ideas that were revolutionary. He suggested that our behaviors, emotions, and even mental illnesses could be traced back to hidden thoughts, childhood experiences, and inner conflicts. Freud's work wasn't just about science, it was about exploring the mysteries of the human mind. His ideas were so groundbreaking that they sparked debates, inspired new fields of study, and even shaped movies, books, and art. But what exactly are these ideas, and why do they still matter today?
Key Freudian concepts that shape psychology.
Freud's theories are like a map of the mind, offering ways to understand why we act the way we do. Here are some of his most influential ideas explained simply, and why they remain relevant in modern psychology.
The unconscious mind, the hidden driver.
Freud believed that our mind is like an iceberg. The part above water, what we're aware of, is just a small piece. The much larger part below the surface is the unconscious, filled with thoughts, memories, and desires we don't consciously control. These hidden forces, Freud argued, shape our behavior in ways we don't always realize. For example, have you ever said something by mistake that revealed how you really feel? Freud called these Freudian slips and believed they were clues to unconscious thoughts. Today, psychologists still explore the unconscious, though they use tools like brain scans or cognitive tests to study it. The idea that our actions might be influenced by hidden motives remains a cornerstone of psychology, showing up in therapies and studies of behavior.
The structure of the mind, id, ego, and superego.
Freud divided the mind into three parts: the id, ego, and superego. Think of them as characters in a play, each with a different role. Id, the impulsive part that wants instant gratification, like wanting to eat a whole cake just because it looks good. Ego, the rational part that balances the id's desires with reality, deciding maybe just one slice of cake is enough. Superego, the moral part, like your conscience, that reminds you eating too much cake might not be healthy. This model helps explain why we sometimes feel torn between what we want and what we know is right. Modern psychology uses similar ideas when studying decision-making or inner conflicts. For instance, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, often explores how our desires and morals clash, even if it doesn't use Freud's exact terms.
Dreams, the royal road to the unconscious.
Freud called dreams the royal road to the unconscious. He believed that dreams were a way for our unconscious mind to express hidden desires or fears, often in symbolic form. For example, dreaming about flying might represent a desire for freedom. Freud's book, The Interpretation of Dreams, 1899, introduced this idea, and it fascinated people then and now. While modern neuroscience suggests dreams may also be the brain processing emotions or memories, Freud's idea that they have meaning still influences therapy. Many therapists ask clients about their dreams to uncover emotions or issues they might not express directly.
Childhood experiences shape who we are.
Freud argued that our early years, especially our relationships with parents, shape our personality and behavior as adults. He introduced the idea of psychosexual stages of development, like oral, anal, and phallic, where conflicts could affect our personality if not resolved properly. For example, Freud might say someone who is overly controlling might have had issues during the anal stage of development. While modern psychologists don't fully agree with these specific stages, the idea that childhood experiences influence adulthood is widely accepted. Attachment theory, which explores how early relationships with caregivers affect us, owes a nod to Freud's insights.
Defense mechanisms, protecting our minds.
Ever avoided a painful truth by pretending it doesn't exist? That's a defense mechanism, a concept Freud introduced. He believed we use these mental tricks to protect ourselves from anxiety or uncomfortable thoughts. Common defense mechanisms include repression, pushing painful memories into the unconscious; projection, blaming someone else for your own feelings, e.g., "I'm not angry, you are"; denial, refusing to accept reality, like ignoring a bad test grade. These ideas are still used in psychology to understand how people cope with stress. Therapists often help clients recognize these patterns to address underlying issues.
Freud's influence on modern psychology.
Freud's ideas laid the groundwork for many areas of psychology, even if some of his theories have been updated or challenged. Here's how his work continues to shape the field.
The birth of talk therapy.
Freud developed psychoanalysis, a therapy where patients talk about their thoughts, dreams, and memories to uncover unconscious conflicts. This talking cure was revolutionary at a time when mental health treatment often involved harsh methods like institutionalization. Today, talk therapy is a cornerstone of mental health treatment. While modern therapies like CBT or humanistic therapy differ from psychoanalysis, they share Freud's belief that talking about feelings and experiences can help. Therapists still use techniques inspired by Freud, like free association, saying whatever comes to mind, or exploring childhood memories.
Understanding mental health.
Freud was one of the first to suggest that mental illnesses, like anxiety or depression, could stem from psychological rather than just physical causes. This was a huge shift in thinking. Today, psychologists recognize that mental health issues often involve a mix of biology, environment, and psychology, ideas that trace back to Freud's work.
Influence on culture and other fields.
Freud's ideas didn't just stay in psychology, they spread to literature, movies, and everyday language. Terms like Freudian slip, ego, or repressed memories are part of how we talk about ourselves. Movies like Inception or books like The Catcher in the Rye explore themes of the unconscious or inner conflict, showing Freud's cultural impact. Even in fields like marketing, Freud's ideas about hidden desires influence how advertisers appeal to consumers' emotions. His work opened up new ways of thinking about what drives human behavior.
Why Freud's ideas are criticized, but still relevant.
Not everyone agrees with Freud. Critics argue his theories lack scientific evidence, rely too much on untestable ideas, or focus too heavily on sex and aggression. For example, his psychosexual stages are seen as outdated by many modern psychologists. Others criticize his methods, like relying on case studies of a few patients rather than large-scale research. Despite these criticisms, Freud's ideas remain relevant because they ask big questions. Why do we act the way we do? How do our past experiences shape us? What's going on in the parts of our mind we can't see? These questions still drive psychological research and therapy. Even if modern science has refined or replaced some of Freud's ideas, his curiosity about the mind's mysteries continues to inspire.
Freud in today's classrooms and therapy rooms.
If you're a student studying psychology, you'll likely encounter Freud's ideas in your classes. His theories are taught not because they're all considered correct, but because they sparked the field of psychology as we know it. Concepts like the unconscious, defense mechanisms, and the importance of childhood are part of the foundation of modern psychology. In therapy, Freud's influence lives on. Psychodynamic therapy, a modern version of psychoanalysis, focuses on unconscious processes and past experiences to help clients. Even in other therapies, like CBT, therapists might explore how past events or hidden emotions affect current behavior, echoing Freud's insights.
Why Freud's ideas hook us.
Freud's ideas are like a good mystery novel. They pull you in because they promise to uncover hidden truths about yourself. Who doesn't want to know why they dream about falling or why they get nervous before a big test? His theories give us a way to make sense of the messy, complicated parts of being human. For students, Freud's work is a reminder that psychology is about asking questions, even if the answers aren't perfect. His ideas encourage us to think deeply about our minds and behaviors, sparking curiosity that can lead to new discoveries.
Why Freud's ideas hook us.
Sigmund Freud's ideas, though over a century old, still shape psychology because they dared to explore the unknown parts of the human mind, from the unconscious to defense mechanisms to the power of childhood. His concepts laid the foundation for how we understand ourselves today. While not all of his ideas hold up under modern science, his influence on therapy, culture, and the way we think about mental health is undeniable.